What's gone wrong for the Flyers? Let's bring Barry Melrose into the conversation as the Flyers take on the Islanders tonight. And Barry, when you look at these two teams, I thought people thought this was going to be a pretty good, not entertaining series. These two teams like to kind of muck and grind it up here. But what's been the difference in this one that has the Islanders with this commanding 3-1 lead?
Well, I think a lot of it is you're not giving the Islanders enough credit. They're a heck of a hockey team, and they seem to be getting stronger and stronger. Another thing is, if you look at the scores, the best players for the Islanders are all scoring. Brock Nelson got 2 goals last game. Pajot scoring. Lee is scoring. All the best players on the Islanders are putting the puck in the net. That's not the case for Philadelphia. If you look at Giroux, hasn't got a goal in this series. Couturier is starting to put the puck in the net. Voracek, so here and there. But, Konechny doesn't have a goal yet, I don't believe. So this time of year, you got to have good goaltending. And they have. The Flyers' goaltending has been as good as anybody's. But your best players have to be your best players. And I got to say that is not the case with Philadelphia. They got to start getting some goals out of these guys, the veteran players and the young players that they count on during the regular season. That hasn't been the case so far.
What do you think the Flyers need to do to crack this Islanders defense? There's so many times where, they seem to be very pass happy. Last game, Jake Voracek is in the high slot. That's where you want to be. He decides to pass it to Sanheim, who then tries to pass it back door, and they don't even get a shot opportunity. So do you think it's as simple as getting more shots on net? How do you think that they can maybe enter the zone more with some offensive creativity?
I think the biggest problem with Philly is the turnovers. If you look at, and we've done it, on inside the crease most nights, we've done breakdowns of all the teams, and I think we've done turnovers on the Flyers a couple times, and on the far side of that is we've done great breakouts by the Islanders where they just zip through the neutral zone with full speed. It seems like every time the Flyers make a mistake, it ends up in their net. And the other night, Barzal beat the 2 Flyer players into the corner. He threw it out in front. Martin was there. Nobody was near him. Put it in the net. Brock Nelson, same thing, in front of the net. No one was near him. He threw it up under the bar and scored a beautiful goal. So the Flyers, are making mistakes, and you can't make mistakes against a good hockey club. And the Islanders are a counterpunching team. When you make mistakes against the Islanders, they're going the other direction and they're going fast. So I think that's been the biggest problem with the Philadelphia Flyers are the number of turnovers that they have every game. And most of them are resulting in goals. Not only are they losing control of the puck and losing zone time, they're losing goals. They're being outscored on these turnovers big time by the Islanders. So I think the Islanders are a good team. They're rock solid. They got good defense, big mobile defense, and their goaltending has probably been better than people thought. Hardeman's been great and continues to be great. So I think the Flyers need whoever's in goal tonight. And Elliott was fine last game. You can't say the goaltending hurt them and let them down. But, it's getting to the point now when it's 3-1, you need your goaltender to be first star that night and maybe, give up 1 goal, something like that, so the Flyers can win a 2-1 game where they don't have to score 4 or 5 goals.
What have you seen out of Matt Niskanen and Ivan Provorov? It does seem like, specifically last game, late in the third period, Matt Niskanen hasn't been himself.
Well, they're a tough team to play against if you're a defenseman because they're on you so fast. They forecheck very well. They take away the boards. They force you on when you're coming up the middle. When you're coming up the ice, they force you on the wall. They don't let you come up the ice in the middle of the rink where you got options. They're forcing you from one side where you got to dump it in, or the other side where you got to dump it in. No speed through the neutral zone, and they've done a great job at that. Again, I think I know you guys are Philly fans, and then they've had a great year, but you got to give that Islander team credit. They're a heck of a team, and I personally think Barry Trotz right now is the best coach in the NHL. His teams are ready to play. They don't beat themselves. The young guys are becoming more and more important. It just seems like every night somebody on that Islander team puts a puck in the net that you don't count a defenseman from the point or those forwards that I mentioned, the young guys and the old guys. So, the Flyers are going to have to play the best game they've probably played in 6 months in tonight's game in order to win this thing.
Yeah, they lost back-to-back for the first time. It's going back to January the 8th, I think, was the last time they lost back-to-back games. Barry, you obviously coached, had a Stanley Cup Finals run in you there. I don't know that the average hockey fan understands the impact of a coach. And when you talk about Trotz and you see what Alain Vigneault has done, why or how important is a coach in a series like this?
Well, number one, I always felt as a coach, my job was to make sure that I had the right guys on the ice. I gave those guys a chance to succeed, and putting the right lines together, putting the right defensive pairs together, having the right defensive pairs playing against their top lines. And it's not always the first line. Their second line might be the hottest line, and you make an adjustment instead of just matching up your best D pair against their best line. It might be a case where you have to use your best D pair against their second line. And Trotzy does that really well. And, so that's the main thing, is having the right guys on the ice. Don't panic. If things aren't going your way early, don't go nuts on the bench. Don't be screaming and hollering every time a call that doesn't go your way. Players tune in on that. It makes you look like you're panicking as a coach if you're mad all the time. And if you look at Trotzy on the bench, and Vigneault is the same way, they're always in control. They're not going crazy. They're not screaming and hollering. They're just, settling their team down, calling timeout at the right time. That's a huge thing for a coach. I've seen a lot of games change because the coach makes a great call on a timeout. So instead of saving it till the last minute of a period, he might use it halfway through the first period. And people are wondering, why does he do that? Why does he do that? And all of a sudden, that team that was running around and panicking settled down, and then they take over the game. And then, instead of losing the game 3-1, they end up winning the game 2-1, something like that. So there's a lot of things that a coach can control on the bench. Ice time. You got a hot line. Get them out there. Double shift them. Maybe drop to 11 forwards where you can double shift your Couturier, for example, if he's playing well. Right now, Hayes is your best player. Play the crap out of him. Get him out there more. And he's the guy that continues to score. He wants the puck. You can tell Hayes wants the puck when he's out there. And Philly needs more guys that want the puck when they're out there. But that's another situation where a team like the Flyers has Hayes on a roll. That's where Trotzy would come with the right defensive units against them to shut him down and make someone else beat you. That's part of coaching also. If you got a hot line on the other side, make someone else beat you. Don't let the hot line beat you. So there's a lot of things that a good coach can do when he's talking about game conditions, when he's talking about players on the ice at the right time, things like that.
Barry Melrose, ESPN, with us here. You mentioned the hotline and wanting the puck, and Claude Giroux has had a tough series in terms of points. I think he's done some other things that don't get credit, but what have the Islanders been able to do to kind of take Giroux off the board?
Well, they're just so rock solid. They don't make mistakes. I'm talking about turnovers by the Flyers end up in your net. They're not forcing turnovers by the Islanders. They're not forcing the Islanders to make bad plays. The Islanders are coming through the neutral zone at a high speed. Barzal now is starting to take over. Pajot can fly. That's the new NHL. You got to be able to skate, and you got to be able to, win races. And right now, the Islanders, one pass out of the zone into the neutral zone, one pass into their zone. All of a sudden, it's a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2. The Islanders are doing that as well as any team in the playoffs right now. Maybe they're the best at that right now, bringing that puck through the neutral zone, because it's everybody. It's not just Barzal. It's not just Pajot. It's everybody. Nelson and all the other guys that are coming through the neutral zone. Front of the net, the Islanders do a great job in front of the net. The Flyers are a big team. They're a physical team, but they're putting men in front of the net, and just daring the Flyers to move them. And it's really hard. They got big forwards. They got guys with a lot of jam, a lot of sandpaper, and they're going into that traffic area in front of the net, and they're scoring a lot of goals from that area. So, right now the Islanders are on a roll, man. They're playing well. You're seeing it. You're seeing a team that's motivated and really, really confident in the way they're playing. And they don't beat themselves. They don't make stupid plays. If they haven't got a play, that long flipper out in the neutral zone, regroup, things like that. But, no one's playing better than the Islanders right now. Unfortunately, Philly picked a rough time to play them.
Besides turnovers, what can the Flyers do tonight to maybe turn the page? Is it get in on the forecheck better, be a little bit more physical? What do you think?
I would like to get back to basics, shoot the puck a little bit more, go north and south, play fast, all the things that you watch how the Islanders play like that, power play, special teams. don't take bad penalties. You take a bad hooking penalty or a bad slashing penalty, it might end up in your net right there and change the whole complexion of the game. So make sure 5-on-5 you're playing well and just stay out of the penalty box. Don't give that power play of the Islanders any chance to get going or alter how the game is going. So, like I said, it's such a tough trophy to win, and you got to be so rock solid in how you're playing. And I get back to goaltending. You got to have a great goaltender. Philly has that. Philly's been goaltending has been fine, but it's just the other mistakes that are being made are sort of overcoming the good play and end up in your net, and all of a sudden you're down 2 goals. And if you're down 2 goals to the Flyers or down 2 goals to the Islanders, you're in trouble because they just don't give up anything.
Well, if the Islanders do win tonight, they would play Tampa. Tampa beats Boston 4-1. Does it matter who wins this series? Is Tampa playing at such a high level that it doesn't matter, or do you think the Islanders would give Tampa an interesting series?
I'll tell you about the Islanders, and this is very similar to the Islanders of the 80s. When you walk into the building where the Islanders play and you watch them, you don't know if they're up by 5 or down by 5. That's just how they play. And they don't panic. They don't run around. They're very disciplined. They don't take bad penalties for the most part, and yet they're still very physical. I mentioned that fourth line, the Cizikas line. That line, is out there banging and crashing and smashing and going to the net, and they score goals. They're not just out there, running into people and trying to wreak some havoc. They're also putting the puck in the net and scoring some goals. So when you got your fourth line putting pucks in the net and scoring goals, man, and your first line isn't doing that, it's very tough to overcome that. So, the guys that get the most ice time, those are the guys that got to give you the most things, and that hasn't been the case for the Flyers so far. They need to just come out with a perfect game tonight. Great goaltending, really smart defense, no turnovers, good play in the neutral zone, and just want the puck. Drive the net, score and rebound, score on tip-ins. You look at Tampa Bay last night, 2 goals on tip-ins, big tip-ins, about 4 feet high. The puck's coming in, it gets by the top guys, the top layer. And then Cirelli tipped one last night, and Palat tipped one last night. Palat's a great example for Tampa Bay. He's got goals in 4 straight games. Kucherov didn't play last night. He got hurt early. And here Palat all of a sudden has turned into a goal-scoring machine. So that's what the good teams are doing right now. Everybody is contributing offensively. Everybody is contributing defensively. And Tampa Bay and probably the Islanders are doing it as well as anybody in hockey right now.
2015, Alain Vigneault, Barry Trotz down 3-1. AV came back and won that series. Can he do it? Repeat of that with the Flyers Islanders? Find out tonight, 7 o'clock right here on 97.3 ESPN. He's Barry Melrose, and, of course, he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Barry, enjoy the hockey.
I always do, guys. Take care.